Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IAS Academy. So today in this video we are going to discuss one of the important editorials which is there in the newspaper Indian Express. Ji haan. This editorial, as you can see here, which is written by Anju Gupta, and the headlines here is, with its strikes against Iran, US may be wading into a conflict that it cannot manage. On 22nd June 2025, a silent fleet of B-2 stealth bombers lifts off from Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. What is their mission? To pierce the nuclear heart of Iran. 30,000 pounds of bunker busting in a fury and rain down on the Fordo. This was there in the news. Now, seconds later, missiles scream through the skies, striking Natanz and Isfahan, these two important sites in Iran. So, 3 nuclear sites overall. One night, a war expanded, a world on the edge. Now, here is the question. The world is afraid to ask, has the United States just walked into a nuclear trap? And is Donald Trump repeating the mistakes of Iraq with radioactive consequences? So in this video, we decode what mainstream media will not tell you. We unpack every strike, every motive, and every chilling possibility here. So from the shadowy halls of Iran's nuclear program to the radioactive ghost of Chernobyl, we connect the dots that could redraw the global map. So stay with me till the end, because what's happening now could trigger the next major global catastrophe, and you need to understand it before it is too late. So what has just happened? So as you can see here, the context of the news which was there in the editorial, on 22nd June 2025, the United States entered the ongoing Israel-Iran war by bombing 3 nuclear sites, as you can see here, in Iran. Now this is considered as a major and dangerous move by Donald Trump, the current US president. Now, what was targeted and how it was targeted? Now this we need to understand. So as you can see this image on your screen, first region is Fordo. आप देख सकते हैं this region, Fordo in Iran. Now this Fordo region was targeted by GBU 57. This was targeted by GBU 57. That is massive ordnance penetrators, and around 30,000 pound bunkers buster bombs dropped by the B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. So this site was attacked. Then second is Natanz in Iran, and third is, as you can see here, Isfahan. Now these last 2 sites, as you can see here, these last 2 sites were hit with the Tomahawk missile. इनको किससे hit किया गया है? Tomahawk missile. जी हाँ, as you can see here, these 2 were hit by Tomahawk missile, as you can see here. Now, Natanz is the largest uranium enrichment facility in Iran. Then, now as you can see here, Isfahan, Iran's largest nuclear research site है. ये जो site है, this is largest nuclear research site, which was targeted by Israel 2 times since the crisis began on 13 June. Then Fordo, Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear site, which was used for uranium enrichment, which is built deep beneath a mountain. So these 3 sites were targeted. है ना? तो ये चीजें आई न्यूज में. Now, Trump announced these strikes on Truth Social, and that was ending with, now is the time for peace, referring to his peace through strength idea. है ना? Now what does Trump want? अब Trump चाहते क्या है? What does he want? Now there are 3 objectives of Donald Trump here. First, Iran should negotiate and completely give up uranium enrichment. Second thing, Trump wants Iran should surrender in the war with Israel. Third, Trump also hopes for the regime change in Iran. That is, he wants a new government. But let me tell you that Iran's president, whose name is Masoud Pezeshkian, as you can see here, Masoud Pezeshkian, he says that Iran will not bring its nuclear program to zero. In fact, after the United States strike, Iran again attacked the Tel Aviv and Haifa in Israel, as you can see the images here. Now, did the attacks work? तो अब इस पे ईरान का कहना क्या है, तो आइए समझते हैं. So Iran claims that the Fordo site had been evacuated long ago and no irreversible damage occurred here. And Iran may have prepared in advance, learning from the previous US strikes on Houthis in Yemen, and also using the MOPs in March 2025 from Diego Garcia base. Now, अब यहां पे सबसे बड़ा कंसर्न है न्यूक्लियर रेडिएशन का. जी हाँ, न्यूक्लियर रेडिएशन कंसर्न. Now, why this concern is there? Now, people feared that radioactive leaks like the Chernobyl disaster of 1986, which affected the Europe, US as well as Japan. But Iranian officials का क्या कहना है? Iranian official, they confirmed that no radiation leaks. Then what about IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, as well as Saudi nuclear authorities? They confirmed no rise in radiation. Apart from this, Kuwait also reported that stable air and water radiation level. Now, the question here is, why is this so dangerous? So let me tell you that Russia warned that US not to attack the Bushehr nuclear power plant. Russia ने warn भी किया US को not to attack this Bushehr nuclear power plant, which was built with the Russian help and here full of Russian workers. Now, nuclear sites may hold radioactive waste, spent fuel, or research reactors. So, bombing them is extremely risky here. Then, what about public and political impact? So, let's try to understand the public as well as political impact. So, let me tell you that Iran's Supremo, or you can say Iran's Supreme Leader, has named the successors, showing long-term planning as well as stability in Iran. Apart from this, these attacks may unite Iranian citizens behind their leaders, and it could also lead to the accidents or miscalculation, and this can also pull United States of America troops directly into the war. Now, we should learn from the history. So what can history teach us here? We need to see the similar patterns in Iraq also. Now, what were the similar patterns in Iraq? So let me tell you, in March 2003, United States of America invaded Iraq with around 1,25,000 US and British troops, and they have removed Saddam Hussein. But it led to 8 years of war. 4,400 US soldiers, they were killed, and that resulted into the rise of ISIS, that is Daesh, by 2012. That is why US had to go back to Iraq in 2014. Now, same mistake here with respect to Iran also, same mistake could repeat. So what happens next? This is there in the editorial. So what happens next? So let me tell you, US can now negotiate. जी हाँ, US now, अब एक चीज याद रखिएगा कि अब यहां पर बहुत सारे सवाल उठ रहे हैं, which is mentioned in the editorial also, about the remaining capability of Iran. Will the US continue to indulge in adventurism that could result in a nuclear catastrophe or region beyond? What are the Trump's economic plans? है ना? it would come to standstill if he need to manage the physical, political as well as legal fallout for such actions. So what happens next here? So US now cannot negotiate with Iran alone. US now need help from Russia, Europe and maybe China to even start nuclear talks. अब यूएस को थर्ड पार्टी की जरूरत पड़ेगी. So here Trump's economic agenda may collapse, as you can see here, if this war escalates. Now, as we can see that the world is entering into a very dangerous phase with the risk of nuclear catastrophe. So, final question which is raised here, will the US keep making reckless moves, that is adventurism, that could bring nuclear disaster to the region or even the world also? So this question is still there. So overall we can say the smoke has cleared, the radiation sensors remain silent for now, but the world is holding its breath. Iran says it will never go to zero with its nuclear program, and Trump says peace through strength. But history whispers warnings of Iraq, of Afghanistan, of regime that collapsed and monsters like ISIS that rose from their ashes. And here is the chilling truth. For the first time, a nuclear-armed superpower has targeted another nation's nuclear sites. This is not just a regional fight. It's a blueprint for global instability here. Has the US lost its diplomatic edge forever? Will the Iran-Israel war drag the world into the radioactive nightmare? Or is there still a path back to a reason? So this is not just a news. It is the history in the making. Let me tell you. It is the history in the making. So share this with the world, because understanding this may be the key to stopping what's coming next. So subscribe this channel Legacy IAS Academy for more such videos, because the next episode may be about the moment the world changes forever. Thank you so much.